Most people think money is about intelligence, about knowing the right formulas, picking the right stocks, or predicting what the market will do next. We're taught that if we just learn enough, read enough, analyze enough, we'll eventually crack the code. But the uncomfortable truth, the one most people don't want to hear, is that money doesn't reward intelligence nearly as much as it rewards behavior. This is the central idea behind the psychology of money. It's not a book about finance in the traditional sense, it's a book about people, about fear, ego, patience, envy, luck, and survival. And once you understand that, the way you think about money changes permanently. Make sure you stay till the end, because rule number 5 is the reason people lose everything after they're already successful. The first key takeaway from the psychology of money is that doing well with money has far less to do with intelligence than we assume, and far more to do with behavior. Knowing what to do is easy. Actually doing it consistently, patiently, and emotionally is the hard part. Anyone can say they're a long-term investor when markets are rising. But when your portfolio is down 20 or 30%, when headlines are screaming crisis, and when everyone else seems to be selling, your behavior matters more than any spreadsheet ever could. Financial success is a soft skill. It's about controlling impulses, managing fear, and resisting the urge to act when doing nothing is the better choice. This leads directly to the second major lesson. Compounding only works if you stay in the game. Compounding is often described as one of the most powerful forces in finance, but that description can be misleading. Compounding is not powerful in the short term. In fact, it's painfully boring for a very long time. The early years feel slow. Progress is barely visible. Returns seem unimpressive. And that's exactly why most people never benefit from it. They interrupt compounding before it has time to work. They panic during downturns. They chase the next hot opportunity. They abandon their strategy just before it would have paid off. The irony is that you don't need extraordinary returns to build wealth. You need ordinary returns sustained over an extraordinary length of time. But time only works in your favor if you allow it to. The biggest investing edge isn't insight, intelligence, or timing. It's endurance, the ability to remain invested through uncertainty, boredom, and fear. Many fortunes are not lost because people were wrong, but because they couldn't tolerate being temporarily wrong. Compounding rewards those who can sit still and punishes those who feel the need to constantly intervene. The third takeaway challenges one of the most deeply ingrained misconceptions about money, the idea that wealth is something you can see. We are surrounded by visible signals of success: luxury cars, designer clothes, expensive homes, exotic holidays. And it's natural to associate these things with wealth. But they're not evidence of wealth, they're evidence of spending. True wealth is what remains after spending. It's the money you didn't use to impress others. It's the margin of safety, the flexibility, the ability to walk away from situations you don't like. Wealth is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. And that's precisely why it's so often misunderstood. Many people spend their entire lives trying to look rich instead of becoming wealthy. They trade long-term security for short-term validation. And the tragedy is that the very things that signal success to others often reduce the freedom of the person displaying them. Large fixed expenses create pressure. Pressure forces dependence. Dependence limits choice. Real wealth does the opposite. It buys independence. It buys time. It buys peace of mind. And those benefits are invisible to anyone who's only looking at appearances. The fourth lesson from the book is that everyone has a different relationship with money because everyone has lived a different life. People like to believe that financial decisions are objective, that there's a clear right and wrong, rational and irrational. But in reality, money decisions are deeply personal. They're shaped by upbringing, culture, past experiences, and the economic environment someone grew up in. A person who lived through inflation will see cash differently from someone who lived through a stock market boom. Someone who experienced job insecurity will view risk differently from someone who never had to worry about losing income. This is why judging other people's financial decisions is often misguided. What seems reckless to you may feel prudent to someone else. What seems conservative to you may feel dangerous to another. Understanding this doesn't mean all decisions are equally good, but it does mean that context matters. Financial advice isn't one size fits all. Strategies that work brilliantly for one person may be completely inappropriate for another. The most dangerous mistake is copying someone else's approach without understanding whether it fits your own goals, risks, and temperament. Closely related to this is the idea that luck and risk play a much larger role in outcomes than we like to admit. Success stories are often simplified into neat narratives of skill and foresight, while failures are attributed to incompetence or poor decisions. But reality is messier. Many successful outcomes involve a combination of skill and favorable circumstances. Many failures involve bad timing or events outside anyone's control. Recognizing the role of luck doesn't diminish effort or discipline. It adds humility. It reminds us to avoid arrogance in success and excessive self-blame in failure. The fifth key takeaway is one of the most important and also one of the hardest to internalize. Knowing when you have enough is a superpower. Modern society is built on comparison. There is always someone earning more, owning more, achieving more. No matter how far you go, the finish line keeps moving. And if you don't consciously decide where enough lies for you, the pursuit of more can become endless and destructive. History is full of people who lost everything, not because they lacked wealth, but because they lacked restraint. The desire for more is not inherently bad. Ambition drives progress and innovation, but unchecked ambition, fueled by comparison and envy, can push people into taking risks that jeopardize what they already have. The most dangerous financial moves are often made not out of necessity, but out of impatience or pride. When people risk what they have and need for what they don't have and don't need, the consequences can be devastating. Knowing when to stop, when to prioritize stability over growth, peace over status, is one of the most underrated skills in finance. Another subtle but powerful idea explored in the book is the asymmetry between pessimism and optimism. Bad news captures attention far more easily than good news. Crises are dramatic. They happen suddenly. They feel urgent. Progress, on the other hand, is slow, incremental, and often invisible. Because of this, pessimistic narratives often sound more intelligent and more convincing. They appeal to our survival instincts. We are wired to pay attention to threats. But this bias can distort our perception of reality, especially when it comes to long-term investing. Markets will always experience crashes, recessions, and unexpected shocks. These events are impossible to predict with precision. What matters is not foreseeing them, but preparing for them. Building a financial life that can withstand uncertainty is far more valuable than trying to outsmart the future. This means maintaining a margin of safety, avoiding excessive leverage, and structuring your finances so that you don't need perfect conditions to succeed. Resilience beats prediction every time. Over and over again, the psychology of money returns to one core message: survival is the foundation of success. You don't need to be the smartest investor in the room. You need to be the one who lasts. You need to avoid the mistakes that permanently remove you from the game. Because once you're out, no amount of intelligence can bring you back. The biggest wins often come not from brilliance, but from avoiding stupidity. Perhaps the most comforting and confronting lesson of all is that doing reasonably well for a very long time is more powerful than doing exceptionally well for a short period. The stories we admire tend to focus on extremes: massive gains, bold bets, overnight success. But real wealth is usually built quietly, slowly, and almost invisibly. It's built by people who understand themselves, who design strategies they can stick to, and who prioritize longevity over excitement. Money is emotional. It always has been, and it always will be. Pretending otherwise is a mistake. The goal is not to eliminate emotion from financial decisions, but to understand it, manage it, and work with it rather than against it. When you do that, money becomes less about stress and comparison and more about freedom and control. In the end, the most important insight from this book is not about markets, returns, or strategies. It's about humility, about recognizing the limits of knowledge, the role of chance, and the importance of behavior. Once you internalize that, you stop trying to impress others with how smart you are and start focusing on building a financial life that actually works for you. That is the psychology of money. If this video changed the way you think about money, even slightly, then it's done its job. If you want more ideas like this, grounded in behavior, psychology, and long-term thinking, consider subscribing. And if one lesson stood out to you, leave a comment and let me know which that is. Sometimes the most valuable insight isn't the one you hear, it's the one you recognize in yourself.